I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Monogatari Second Season, episode 20. It's Gaian time.
Yeah, that's what time it is.
It is Gaian time. And, well, it's Shinobu time, too.
No. Right now it's Gaian time.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Sweet. Yes, it does. It's a command, Ononoki. Yes. Please.
She loves explaining.
Ooh.
何があったにしても世継ぎだけで十分対処できると思ったんだろうね。でも私は知っていた。この件が君たちだけで対処できる問題ではないことを。
Look at the sky.
だからこうして助けに来た。ヒーロー気取りでね。数日分ほどね。
なんか
Few days of effort.
されればされるほど謎が増えていく感じだ。
なんだい小読くん。
呼び方が小読くんになった。会って1時間ですげえ慣れ慣れしい。
She probably feels like she knows you really well.
ここにいるのが分かったのか。
私は何でも知ってるんだよ。小読み。
小読み？まさかのニックネーム。キリの時の戦場ヶ原かよ。
お見通しの千里眼ってやつだね。
Clairvoyance.
的なことを言うと、世継ぎが現場に現れないのはなぜなんだろうって。そして調べてみれば、小読みが噛んでいるよう。忍ちゃんのことも迷いちゃんのことも。私は知っていたからね。
She's brilliant.
She's like, yeah, it's like clairvoyance, but realistically speaking, here are all these things I knew that I know about, and I'm like,
she knows everything, but can make logic of things too.
Yeah.
She's Gaian.
Just wait. She'll even have the power to speak things into the truth.
Gaian legitimately comes at it from two angles. Like, if you're trying to prosecute a murderer, you can't just be like, I know they're a murderer. Even if you do know and do know everything. She is laying down the facts of the matter too.
Mm-hmm. That's like the spin-off show, is she's like a murder investigator.
It'd be boring. She'd catch all of them in one episode. Wouldn't be boring.
No more crime would happen ever. Big boss.
Nope.
何を相手にしている？
知ってるね。ま、それについては知りたくはない
I
よう
wish
な
I was
存在なのだが。残念ながらそんなことでさえ知っているのがこの私なんだな。困った。
じゃあ。
まあそう
焦るなって。
This kind of looks like the place Shinobu had a shrine at in the past.
今は安全だ。それは保証する。しかし私は一方的に頼られる関係というものを好まない。
That's so fair.
バランスが悪いからね。だから私にもコヨミンを頼らせてほしい。3つお願いします。
3 requests.
So fun. It's like we're in a game.
助け合うことで生きているのさ。
3つどころか100つでも。
君にとってそれくらい大切な存在なのかね。
まあ、そりゃ。それより時間がないんです。
本当に忍ちゃんのことが大切なんだね、コヨミンは。
To Ononoki's dismay.
じゃあちゃっちゃと話そう。まず一つ目。紹介してほしい人間がいる。それも結構急いでいる。
Who would you want an introduction to?
今はカンバルするのか。彼女は私のメインにあたり。
That's why we call her.
親戚関係だって言うなら直接会いに行けばいいじゃないですか。
Not allowed at the house?
相当の悪印象を私はあの子に与えることに。
紹介。まあ、しろと言われればしますけれど、ただその前にカンバルの許可を取ることにはなりますよ。
あの子が会いたくないと言うんだったら別の手段を考える。
Okay, I like that.
私を
I
おばさん
respect
とは
that.
紹介しないでほしい。
そんな勝手な。
駿河の気持ちを考えてのことだ。それでは2つ目の願いだが、世継ぎがこの件に噛んでしまったせいで、今この子に任せ
So you have to
Delayed the job.
支障が出てしまった。
complete the task.
この件に型がついたら、そちらの仕事をちょっぴり手伝ってはもらえないかということだよ。
それってカンバルも一緒にってことですか？
その通りだ。今となっては駿河の左手が必要なのさ。もちろんそれも駿河の意思次第だ。彼女が手伝いたくないというのならそこはすぐに引き下がる。もっともコヨミン、君の手伝いだけは絶対に必要なんだけどね。
I love that she keeps saying that she wouldn't force her niece.
Yeah.
で、3つ目のお願いというのは？
いや、 3つ目はすでに君が言ったよ。駿河にも仕事を手伝うように要請してほしいというのが3つ目のお願いだった。すでに君は引き受けてくれているから、これでこちらもコヨミンを助けること。
I can now save you.
ガエンお姉さんは安心したよ。よかった、君の力になれて。コヨミン、悪いことは言わない。君たちはここから移動するべきじゃない。少なくとも私の話を聞き終えるまで。
Guy, it's so cool.
町に帰るというのは最悪の選択肢だ。
Worst possible.
それだけはしちゃダメなの。
Would it just draw the darkness in and it would start eating people?
でもそのせいで忍と離れ離れになってしまったんです。
そのペアリングならすぐに回復できるよ。それについては約
We know that.
こりゃ狙われているのが忍ちゃんだという誤解を早めに解いておくべきだったかな。
Great at knowing everything, but not great at relaying the information.
It's obvious already.
400年前はそう
To
だ。
us.
だけど今回は違う。
Yeah.
This time she's not.
今回の現象が誰を標的としたものかも当然知っているん
A
です。
reason why the three of you can't leave.
今回暗闇に狙われているのはそこで疲れ果てて寝てる子だよ。つまり八九時迷いちゃんだ。
No wonder we say we know about Shinobu and we know about Mayoi.
八九時がそうなのか、おののきちゃん。
僕はお姉ちゃんから軽く聞いていたからね。
その質問には私が答えよう。そのために私はここに来たのだから。暗闇は怪異ではない。怪異以外の存在、非存在。
More like non-existence.
殺すこともできない。それがあの非存在。存在しない何か。怪異の存在を消滅させる何か。
Oh.
狙われる理由なんだけれど、これは理不尽でも不条理でもない。厳密に言うと、あれは怪異の道を踏み
Gone down the
Down the
wrong
wrong
path.
では具体的に、忍ちゃんが400年前に何をしたかを考えてごらん。そう、そうだ、その通り。忍ちゃんは400年前
Pretended.
神を演じた。忍ちゃんは自ら神を名乗ったわけではなく、周りの人間が彼女を神だと誤解しただけだって言いたいんだけどね。誤解を解く努力をしないというのは嘘をついているの
That's
だ
a
よね。
fantastic line.
それが裁きの対象になったわけさ。
Punishment.
I'm just scared what this means for Hachikuji.
彼女が南極に大ジャンプで逃げた後に
So we need to save Hachikuji by...
眷属作り。それで神という嘘が露見する。
Haha.
結局、忍ちゃんは裁きを受けたんだ。今の忍ちゃんには狙われる理由はない。だから
She's already received her punishment.
嘘つきちゃん。まずはその嘘寝をやめなさい。
Gaia knows everything.
大丈夫だ、落ち着け。
迷いちゃんがついている嘘は今そこにいるという嘘だ。
What?
本当はもう成仏しているはずなんだろう。迷いちゃん、君はそういう嘘をつき続けている。そこにいる
I have chills.
嘘なんてそんなつもりはありませんでしたよ。だから誤解されたらもう嘘なんだって。
Misunderstanding is as good as a lie.
要は今の君は幽霊の幽霊
You're like the
みたいな
ghost of a ghost right now.
残念ながら世界はそんなメタ構造みたいな存在を認めない。そんな存在、非存在に飲み込まれる定めなのさ。八九時迷いは11年前に交通事故で死んだ幽霊だ。厳密に言うと彼女は迷い牛というカタツムリの怪異だ。だけどそれはコヨミンとコヨミンの彼女、それに未熟者の目
Maybe the novice.
迷いちゃんの迷いはなくなったわけだ。なのにその子はまだそこにいる。それ
She
が嘘
shouldn't
でな
be.
くてなんだ。迷い牛である以上、人を迷わせなければならない。だけどそれをしていない。
八九時と一緒にいて道に迷ったことはない。むしろ僕に道を示してくれたことさえしばしばだ。だから僕は八九時は迷い牛ではなくなったのだと思っていた。そんな風に八九時のことを見ていた。そんな風に
That's how you
目撃していた。
that's how they get a lot of the power, right? The oddities, how they're viewed, how they're perceived.
八九時は僕に嘘なんてついていない。
そうだね。そうだった。嘘をついたのは自分が相手か。ま、どっちみち迷い牛としての道を踏み外した以上、迷いちゃんは罰され、裁かれるのさ。
No.
裁かれる。狙われているのが八九時って決まったわけじゃ。
確かに物的証拠はないけれど
The guy said it.
状況証拠はいくつかあるんじゃないかな。暗闇は迷いちゃんが意識を失っている時には
Circumstantial evidence again, huh?
じゃあその後山の中に逃げた後も疲れて寝ていることが多かったから追って来られなかったとでも。
そうだよ。今君
They were
迷いちゃんは迷いにして本部を
one could say she's doing
That's-
her job. Oh. So that's why you can't leave. You can't go home because then you won't be lost.
自分の家に帰るようなことがあれば、また迷いちゃんは怪異としての本分を見失うことになる。
逐次に迷い牛に戻れって言うんですか。昔みたいに人を迷わし続ければ。
それは嫌です。あんなことはもう二度としたくないです。
逐次。
荒木さんのおかげであんなことをしなくて済むようになりました。
Why would she want to go
私は
back to
自分
that?
の家に帰れました。だからもう二度とあんなことはしません。あんなことはもう二度としないと。そういう嘘をつくことに決めたんです。あれは法則のようなものだ。
Oh.
大丈夫ですよ。荒木さん。
It's not okay.
打つ手はありますか。
具体的には。
具体的には私が消えればいいんですよ。
ガエンさんはあっさりと帰っていった。
私だけの問題じゃないんですから、これは。荒木さん、あなたは私
The song.
400年前の忍さんと同じ思いをさせる気ですか。
Where everyone around her disappears,
だから
but it's
手
after
を
her.
離してください。
そういう言い方は。
今は延長線みたいなものなんですから。いえ、延長線じゃなくてボーナスステージですか。単に荒木さんと話すのが楽しくて、ずっとあちら側に行くのを先延ばしにしていただけなんです。
なんかあるはずだろ。こっからだって逆転劇が。
ありませんよ。突破口なんて。むしろ世の中
Aren't
が
any
優しか
openings.
ったくらいじゃないですか。普通何ヶ月も待ってもらえませんよ。幽霊の幽霊なんて口頭無形な存在を。
Right?
逐次に全部責任を負わせてみんなが助かるみたいなやり方。
そんなことずっと荒木さんがやってきたことじゃないですか。自分はやるのに人にはやらせないなんて、そんなのは通りませんよ。
なんでだって泣きそうになりながらつうか泣きながら戦ってきた。どうしてお前はそんな風に。
These shots are beautiful.
何の不満もなさそうに。
不安がないと言えば嘘になりますけれど、でも何の不満もありませんよ。楽しかったですし、あとは空の上から荒木さんを見守っていますので。
だからそういうことを言うなって。
いなくなりますけれど、いなかったことになるわけじゃありません。
そんなのは同じことじゃねえか。言葉の上のことだけで。
いい加減にしなよ、鬼のお兄ちゃん。どっちが子供なんだかわからないよ。本人がいいって言ってるんだからいいじゃないか。
そうですよ荒木さん、私がいいって言ってるんですから。
わかんねえやつだな。僕がお前と一生道に迷ってやる。
荒木さん、
山の中でも知らない村でも一生お前と一緒に迷い続ければいい。
But what did you just say about Shinobu earlier?
としての本分を発揮し続けているから何の問題もない。
荒木さん、
そうだな、決まりだ。そうしよう。
Aragi, you gotta abide by the traffic signals, man.
あとどれくらいあるのか知らないけれど、少なくとも10年や20年くらいは生きられるだろう。
何を言ってるんですか。戦場ヶ原さんのことはどうするんです。羽川さんは妹さんたちのこともありましたよね。考えてもダメでしょ。全部は選べませんよ。
Can't choose all the
紳
options.
士のようには離れていてもずっと一緒だとか、心の中の思い出は消えないとか、いつでも私はそばにいるとか、二人の絆は永遠だとか、それでもいつか荒竹さんが本当に困った時にはきっと帰ってきますとか、そういうのでなんとか納得してください。
そんな存在なので納得できるか。ふざけんな。
もういいんですよ荒木さん。荒木さんと楽しくおしゃべりしていたこの3ヶ月は、私が一人で道に迷っていた11年を十分埋め合わせてくれましたから。最後にあれやりましょうよ。
あれって
噛みましたから始まる一連の流れ。
なんだよ。やっぱわざとだったのかよ。あれ
当たり前じゃないですか。あんな噛み方するやついませんってね。荒木さん、そういえば今回一度もやってませんでしたし。荒木さん、 私へのから向けだと思ってここはぜひ。失礼噛みました。大好きでしたよ、荒木さん。
今もずっそれで、それからどうなったんです？後日談と言いますか、今回のオチは。
別にどうにもならないよ。その後八九時はめでたく成仏し、事件というならそっちの方が大事件だったな。
はあ、大変でしたね。お察ししますよ。
今でも思うけどな、他に何か手はあったんじゃないかって。
暗闇に飲まれて消えちゃうよりも、自分から成仏の道を選ぶなんてすこぶる賢明です。まあいい話が聞けましたよ。ありがとうございました、荒木先輩。それでは私はいろいろと仕事がありますので、今日のところはこれで失礼しますね。
ねえ、扇ちゃん、仕事って何？
普通の仕事ですよ。
I doubt
って
that.
言えば、宇宙の大半を占める圧倒的な暗闇のようにありふれた仕事です。間違っているものを正し、終わるべきものを終わらせるって言うなら、嘘つきを罰する仕事ってところですかね。
ああ、
ひょっとしたらこの先荒木先輩の力を借りることもあるかもしれませんし。
お前様、分かっておるとは思うが、あの女多分何かじゃぞ。
そうかもしれない。
なんじゃ、分かっておったのか。
いや、わからないことだらけだよ。知りたいもんだね、何でも。とりあえず八九時がいなくなったことはみんなにはまだ秘密だ。扇ちゃんにだけ話しておいて、どういう影響が出るか見てみよう。
おう、なんじゃペラペラ喋っておると思ったらそういう戦略か、それとも後付けかの。
Snooping around.
いつまでじゃ。
羽川あたりにはあっさりバレちゃうかもしれないけれど、とにかく八九時がまだこの町にいてくれてるふりをし続けて。
He's kept this a secret for 4
それ
months.
は未練ではないのか。そんな嘘をついて
How hard is it to keep it up?
に飲まれるぞ。
なわけねえって。そういえば僕は4ヶ月前のあの日、八九時との別れに際してあの言葉を言っていなかった。今頃そんなことに気づくなんて、僕も随分抜けている。
Goodbye.
さようなら、八九時迷い。お前と会えて幸せだった。
It was goodbye.
二人合わせてファイヤーシスターズ。次回恋物語第1話、下着エンドその1。
Hitagi end. Hitagi end.
I'm devastated. Okay, that was Monogatari Second Season, Episode 20. We took a little bit of a break because it was very hot in here, and I thought that this discussion might be longer than 10 minutes. We haven't talked to each other about the episode yet, and that sucks. It feels weird. It doesn't feel like I'm allowed to talk to you about anything because
Yeah.
of that.
I don't really think, yeah, it did feel like we haven't even talked. There were a few moments where I was about to say something and then I was like, oh, Anna, no, don't bring it up yet. And of course we would feel that way. I mean, imagine you are watching a show with someone, the same person, consistently for episodes and episodes, seasons and seasons of this series, and a character that you've known since literally the beginning of this journey you've been on
Could be gone forever.
Could be gone forever. Of course, and you're in the emotions. You're crying when the episode's ending. You're probably even ugly crying. You probably look really silly.
Mhm.
Of course you want to talk to the person you've been on this journey with. And now we're here and we get to do that. And I think we should be thankful because now we get to speak to each other.
I respect that. I've been in a different place. I've been in an Ogi hole. I've just been festering and overthinking everything about Ogi and wanting to go through the lines at the end of the episode.
Mhm. She really is like a black hole.
Yeah. But before we even touch on that, I think you're right. Hachikuji. We have confirmation as to why it's Hachikuji, and I guess just so we don't get anything wrong, we can bring up the lines. I think it's around 9 minutes in. So we're talking about what it is, right? That non-existence and the attributes of it. It can't be killed. Of course it can't be eaten either.
Darn it. That was plan B.
Yeah. something that doesn't exist, something that eliminates oddities. Oh, this is such a crazy sequence. Like, it's only on the screen for a couple of seconds, I think.
Same
but
with
it's,
like the dialogue screens.
yeah, but it's Shinobu getting strangled by this non-existence. As for why she's being targeted, it's neither absurd nor irrational.
Which we can agree with. I think it feels pretty logical once we get the explanation.
Yeah, I had made a comment during the episode about like you like Araki, you have to follow like the traffic.
You did say that
And
during the...
that's what it feels. It does, unfortunately. It feels logical and it feels like a law. Strictly speaking, that thing goes after oddities that have gone down the wrong path. And we bring up Shinobu as an example, right? We've talked about it. The idea...
What she did that was the wrong path.
Yeah, her portraying herself as a god, or other people thinking that she's a god, and how all that's broken down. There was a line that I really loved about, like, what telling a lie is, right? Like, I had written down that people misunderstand, and, like, trying not to clear up that misunderstanding, it would be the same thing. It would be akin to lying.
Yeah, that you're not clearing up the misunderstanding is basically the same thing.
Yeah.
And she was forced out of her lie. We get this scene almost like she's trapped inside the tower of chairs, as I think that this dialogue is on the screen of like what it is that kind of forced her out of the lie is that she jumps back to the South Pole and makes a kin.
She acted as a vampire, right? She made a kin, and that exposed her lie. Like, it's kind of insane because Shinobu would never know this, or the first Oddity Slayer wouldn't know this, but the first Oddity Slayer becoming a vampire very well saved Shinobu's life at the end of the day, because it was the example of, it's an example of being a vampire.
It would have chased after her if... Yeah, wouldn't it have chased after her if this hadn't happened? The reason that he resents her or thinks that he was betrayed by her, the first kin, the first Oddity Slayer, is because he's turned into a vampire, and that is the exposing of her true identity. If he had just gone on with the misunderstanding, thinking that she was a god or was dead, Shinobu still would have been chased after, Honestly, even if everyone that believed her as a god was dead, it's not like she would be living any differently than how she had been living until she does something like a vampire would. So probably would have chased her there.
Yeah. And
somehow gotten there. Obviously, we know it's not going to go up in like vertical, and that's why we were jumping away, but it eventually would have found her.
We've talked about it, like, and how it could apply and not apply to Shinobu in this instance, and it could apply to Hachikuji, but reading a line on the screen that's saying that, like, you're not even here, you've already passed on. It was genuinely haunting, and not to try to fucking make a joke out of it.
But wasn't, like, the line that hit even more what the title we give her? Oh, it's on the screen now.
I
in short,
same mind.
You're like the ghost of a ghost right now. Like, that new title for her.
And what comes after it, unfortunately for you, the world won't accept an existence as meta as you.
There's something that makes me really happy when there's like a line like meta, there's a word usage of meta, there is a meta action in something. I get really happy when things like that happen. There's been instances with this show in particular that we've been like, is this something meta that's happening right now?
An existence like that is fated to be swallowed whole by the non-existence.
Basically becoming something that should not exist becomes something that no longer exists.
Yeah, I think it's around here. It's not necessarily applicable to Hachikuji, but I had written it down. It's around 12:20 when we're talking about the original problem. Kyomin, thank you for referencing the nickname that you've given us, because Gaian's such a cool character and knows everything that she doesn't need the formalities of really getting to know somebody before we can give them a nickname.
If you felt like you knew everything about someone, I feel like you would be uncomfortably close way too soon with them, and they would just have to get used to it. We've seen characters in other shows that have had reasons why they are possibly uncomfortably comfortable with characters that don't know anything about them back. But it seems like it's worked out in some other character's favor, and it maybe works out in her favor that she's so friendly to strangers.
If I knew everything, and we get more Gaian in the beginning of the episode, and like her idea of knowing everything and it not necessarily being all good in her life, and if I knew everything, I would almost feel like a loss of free will would apply to me. And I know this is really stretching, but like giving somebody like Araragi like a nickname right off the bat would somehow empower me a little bit and make me feel like I was a little in control of some things.
You know what would also be empowering? We have the idea that Araragi thinks she probably sucks at explanations. I think he even says something pretty close to that, like, hey, you're not like giving me all the details and you're not explaining the things that I want to know. Maybe she's not being quick enough with the explanations. But do you think that she feels some sort of empowerment by being the one that gets to choose how to relay the information that she knows?
She just knows how that information is gonna be relayed.
And she knows that she wants there to be a trade for such things. She's not gonna just give it to you. Even if you're buddies, she wants something back because she doesn't want anyone depending on her.
Yeah, definitely. Which is a really interesting line to go down, right? Like, not wanting anybody to depend on you. I wonder if it does inevitably connect with the Kanbaru side of things.
If you had that power, don't you think like the first people that you would feel like are relying on you too much are those that you're with every day, which is your family?
Yeah, and I love her so much because I don't know what happened in the past, but with her approach to the request of Araragi being not to just ask Kanbaru to meet with Gaian, but to do it under the guise that it's not my aunt, right? We're not coming in with the notion or preconception of this being a relative, but we're judging Gaian as an individual first and as a person first, and then maybe learning that she's an aunt. I wonder if that implies that something was told to Kanbaru about her aunt that would immediately put her on guard and maybe feel a little bit off-putting to her.
Yeah, there's two things I'd want to talk about here. And one of them is the respect that Gaian shows toward her niece. The fact that if she doesn't want to meet me, we're not going to make her. If we meet her and she doesn't want to help with the mission that I think her arm would be helpful with, we're not going to force that on her. And these choices that she's making of not forcing this on Kanbaru, she believes is better for Kanbaru, which that kind of idea says, well, it's not necessarily better for you, Gaian, you probably wish, if you're saying like it's better for her, could you then also read into that line, it's better for her, but it's, my desire would be to declare who I am to her and be an aunt and be
that's interesting
together as family?
Because what Gaian doesn't come across as somebody who is like devoid of emotion by any means, and you have to wonder what purpose as to including Kanbaru within this request is. Like, obviously we get the idea that we need to be helping with this task, and I don't want to lose like the point that we'd be helping with this task with or without Kanbaru. If Kanbaru does not want to be a part of this, it's still going to happen, and Araragi's still going to help. And when that moment happened, I was like, whoa, like it kind of came off like if that does happen without Kanbaru, things might not necessarily go in a positive light that they would go if Kanbaru was involved. But how much of wanting Kanbaru to be involved, if any, is Gaian's own personal feelings and wanting to reconnect with her niece?
Yeah. The second thing that I wanted to talk about is that when she says that she'd probably make a bad impression, or a bad impression would happen if she were to introduce herself to Kanbaru or go meet her family without Araragi helping in this case with this task, that there'd be a bad impression. And if there was any other character in any other universe that was going to say a line like that to you, you would read into it a little more. You would be skeptical of it. If a character was like automatically thinking something would go wrong or there'd be a bad impression, they might think, well, my family might have talked bad about me to my niece. She might think ill of me already. Things will automatically go wrong if I were to see my family because there's bad blood between us. If a character was to just say that, you would think they're being probably insecure. They don't know for sure that's the case. So it's probably, yeah, their own like insecurities, their own worries, their own pessimism that is bringing forth dialogue like that. But if you're hearing it from a character that knows everything, it does make you feel like, well, does she really know this for sure, that they would be a bad impression? Does she really know that? Or
she said something like the guy in Bloodline was complicated, and that being said enough would make me feel like she'd have a feeling that it would be a bad impression if it was introduced as somebody within your bloodline.
And that just like leads me to being like, well, how does this even work? How does knowing everything even work?
It's because she knows everything. Like,
yeah,
but
it's like I want to get into it. Like
you want every ounce of
I want all the explanation,
anthology and backstory and how she got to where she is.
Is it dreams? Is it just a gut feeling?
Or does she just know? Like,
is there rules to it?
What I think is interesting is like, was there a give and take? Was she always like this from the day that she was born and conscious, or was there a moment in her life that she lost or gained something or learned something that had this in effect going forward? I had written down that she knows everything. You know, she ends up with knowledge that she doesn't necessarily want to have, and that gives so much like insight within to Guyan as an individual, because you're a human. Like you have all of this, but you don't necessarily want all of this.
Yeah, you have all of that. You might be very friendly to people, but it seems like she probably still lives a rather isolated life to some extent, or rather lonely life. Yeah. Which I could imagine someone that has that ability would. I wonder if there are rules to it, because there are a couple examples within this episode, yes, that prove she knows everything, that prove like, oh, if she's so certain, like we already brought up, like Araragi is safe here, you know, unless he were to return to town, he wouldn't be safe then. She has given us multiple pieces of evidence to believe she does know everything, and she has confidence in that. But if you're requesting that Araragi involve Kanbaru, but you're saying, if she doesn't say yes, we're cool with it, that would show that you don't know for sure whether she'd say yes or no. Yeah. Right? What are the rules to the knowing everything? I feel like there's more to understand about it. That's why I'm so like, phrase I know everything is too unsettling.
Think about like a fictional world's library that holds every piece of information, recorded data that people have been able, but it's all by no author. It's all by the thing that's written. This library full of historical text is just objective truth itself. If you memorized every single word within all of objective truth itself, that doesn't necessarily tell you how somebody is going to respond to something.
It's the human factor. Maybe. Yeah. So okay, here's a fun theory of like how it could exist. Okay. For her, and I'm gonna use an example just from this show, because like sometimes shows do parallels. You know, maybe it's somewhat like, obviously this is Shinobu time. And when we go back in time with Shinobu, we get the idea of the branching off of paths, and how if you were to save Hachikuji, then a vampire kin zombie apocalypse. You know, what if she sees the options, because that humans have free will and they have options, and it's kind of hard to necessarily have an ability to predict exactly what a human
like a root tree, like you're following if yes, if no, what then next. No. I like that. So she
sees there's a path where Kanbaru could say yes and a path where Kanbaru could say no, and she's not gonna get in the way of fate. Maybe so there. She's like letting humans still have the autonomy and the free will to
like what I was saying about it having to be like Araragi's going to be involved either way. And it was like when that line was dropped, there was like, even if she doesn't want to help, like Araragi's gonna help no matter what. Then there was like a sound, and that sound was very ominous and scary to me. And it's like, okay, so if that option isn't yes for Kanbaru and it's no, we see what the next thing's going to be. That outcome does not look as positive as the outcome that Kanbaru said yes in. Like that?
Yeah, like that's what I'm like picturing for the knowing everything. Because I think that cool that comes in, I think that brings everything that we've talked about into play, which is, why is she saying for sure confident answers for some things, but then other things, it doesn't seem like she knows how it would play out.
I have something to go off of that then. there was a moment that, like, Guyan had a massive amount of relief once Araragi agreed to the tasks. And within that, like, Araragi immediately was like, I'm not relieved yet. Like, look at the situation. Shinobu's still in danger. But that relief came solely from Guyan's point of view. And it was like, okay, if we're looking at that route, yes or no, the no, if the tasks are not agreed to hypothetically, would be, let's say, Shinobu dying or Shinobu and Araragi dying. But thankfully, because Araragi agreed to these tasks, therefore can be given the reason that this thing is chasing them, and he's agreed to that. Now they can go down the positive route that everything's guaranteed to be safe within Araragi and Shinobu's lives or safety.
I'm pretty sure, like, the line right after that is, I can save you now.
Yeah,
like,
no,
her
exactly.
Relief is,
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
save you now. And that brings up, like, giving him the free will to make the choice of if he's going to be helpful. But she's already put it on the table that she is not going to help him for free. Like, to get her help, he has to agree to help her. There's a trade here.
Does it imply, like, that if that wasn't accepted, death, like, for Araragi at that point?
Would she even offer something like that, or would she doesn't like people to depend on her, but if she knew for certain, that if she didn't just help someone, if she didn't just save them, they would die, like, what's her moral compass here? We have the idea of where, like, Kaiki and Oshino and Yozuru kind of stand in terms of, like, how they believe humans to be, and maybe, like, moral ethical compasses. We don't really know, like, maybe exactly where she comes into play. Like, is she a hero that will save anyone? No, because she's already establishing she wants there to be kind of a trade going on.
Where do we get the passing of information conversation in this episode? Because that does happen.
The passing of information? Are you talking about, like, the text messaging?
No, it's, like, let's see. I'll try to find it. It's like, it almost comes into, like, it's like humanity's greatest strength or something, I want to say.
Maybe it's once he agrees to help her.
Oh, I think it's
here.
here.
Yeah, okay.
We're talking about trades. Let me depend on you too, Kyomen. Depend on me. I'm saying we should be buddies. Before I give you information that would prove beneficial to you, I'd like you to fulfill 3 requests of mine. People survive by helping each other out. That's the only way we can survive, or we can survive. And I think that's really fascinating too, right?
Well, yeah, it definitely opens up the idea even more so that there were times maybe in her past that she was taken advantage of, or, like, in order to shine herself and get further herself, she might have felt like people were just constantly dragging her down, you know? And to survive herself, she either needed to be able to make sure that a friendship is an equal exchange, but, like, that's how healthy relationships actually should be. Like, she has the right thought to, you know, surface level thought of, like, a relationship should be a give and a take. You should never just be fully dependent on or fully depend on. Like, there should definitely be, like, you are offering something, whether it's a friendship, you know, a relationship. You should be able to both be able to depend on each other and be something for the other person.
I love it.
Love it.
I feel like this is going to come back to play that I imagine will be towards the end of the discussion. We're talking about Ogi in 4 months in the future. But, like, Araragi is getting a lot of very, very good, credible information from so many different sources. And I love that for him. And it isn't lost on him, and it's just continuously building his arsenal of knowledge.
I would say it isn't lost on him, and he gets all this new information, all these different characters and their POVs, their outlooks, their compasses that they live by, but he never changes.
Yeah.
He maybe grows as himself and stays true to himself, and so his path of growth makes a lot of sense for his character, and that's how it should be. Like, we're not wildly changing his mind or making him align closer to someone else that he might have never actually aligned with.
Yeah, it's funny. The thing that initially caused us to start talking about Guyan, I had said the Kyomen nickname.
Oh, yeah,
that wasn't even the thing in the scene that I was going to point out. It was Meme the Novice.
Oh,
that I thought was just funny.
I think, like, during it, when that line was said, I was like, I either said it out loud or, like, giggled or something.
I love it so much.
Calling him that, but knowing, like, we've just watched a bunch of parts of this Monogatari series as a whole where he was literally the reason
He's
we were
everything.
saved, you
Yeah.
know? Whether that was like him helping or whether that was information he gave to like Shinobu or Aragi that helped us.
Yeah, and hey, another thing that Guyan knows though is that Hachikuji was faking being asleep. And
Oh, that's so true. Yeah.
yeah, but man, lying about being there, passed
So
on
I guess
already.
we should go back to Hachikuji.
Yeah,
Like that. It begins and it ends with Hachikuji.
What really like stood out to me as like Guyan is a character who knows so much. There was an interaction that for my sake I'd love to reread, and maybe we can have the build up to it too, because it seems like there was a point in the conversation that she misread something, and I don't want to say the wrong word for it, so let's find it. Hasn't she been lying to you this entire time about Hachikuji? Of course. No. Hachikuji hasn't lied to me. Not once, never.
Hachikuji's facial expression during that dialogue was interesting.
But I couldn't look at her, I looked at Guyan. I guess. You're right. That was just a misunderstanding of mine. The one she lied to was herself, huh? I don't know why, it's so small, but when that happened, it really stood out to me. Like the idea of Guyan misinterpreting exactly like what the specificity was here and what the like intricacy was. And it also like, there's so much between Araragi and Hachikuji's relationship and their dichotomy and their bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
That goes unverbally acknowledged, or so I believe it does, and what each other realize and don't realize, and like when it is acknowledged, that it just brings that into question in this scene too.
Definitely. It's a lot for her to even have said, for Guyan to even say like she was misunderstanding something, especially when we get the idea that misunderstanding so closely related to lying itself, whether that's like not clearing up a misunderstanding.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sad sense, but it like blew my mind that the idea that it hasn't been following were the times that Hachikuji was unconscious, therefore Hachikuji was misdirecting them, misguiding them, or causing them to be lost. Yeah.
The fact that we get a line as they're walking down the mountain before the reveal that Guyan is going to be in this episode is them being like, oh, it's like we're lost. Didn't think anything of that at all. I honestly...
It's so
I know
good.
we thought that the darkness was after Hachikuji, or at least we were like speculating it was the past couple episodes, but I really wasn't necessarily like wholeheartedly piecing everything together, even though I had all the pieces and we spoke about all the pieces. I just hadn't put them together in the puzzle in the way that they're put together in this episode.
It's so wild because all I want to say about it is how amazing writing it is. And then I'm like, yeah, well, there's so much of Monogatari that's happened and these characters have been established so well and for so long that of course you can have great writing. But then I'm reminded, holy shit, we have segmented character arcs. Like, Hachikuji has had a lot of story, sure, but this is being intertwined with so many different layers in regards to Guy and Ononoki, and specifically Shinobu, that we were able to build this up so organically that it's just lost on us because we're so in the moment watching that her immersed. Being unconscious is getting them to be lost. It's so good.
So then I guess what we get to is...
Guyan leaves, right?
Guyan leaves, and then what we get to is Hachikuji's resolve, I guess, that she's not going to... She says, like, right after the scene that she's...
Oh, you're right.
She's not going... She would never return to being the lost cow.
She never wants to do that ever again.
Never want to lead people astray again. Like, Araragi saved her from having to do that to other people. She is accepting of the fact that she needs to face the fact that she has been lying to herself, that she's a ghost of a ghost. And then we get to, obviously, Araragi being like, no, you know?
I think that, no, you're right. Before Guyan leaves is when she says she never wants to do that again. And then Guyan leaves, we get the idea that phone number acquired. Sweet. Awesome.
Was that why Guyan leaves? Does she leave once the certainty that the person in front of her, the ghost of a ghost in front of her, does not want to deceive anymore.
I don't know if it's why she left, but I get you.
Yeah.
But my main takeaway, phone number acquired.
Yes.
But that's when...
Gonna text her in the middle of the night.
That's when the episode shot me. Like, at that point, when I think it was Hachikuji's theme started playing, and just beautifully, and I knew something bad was gonna happen, and it was not easy, man.
Is it something bad, though? Is it really something bad that happened?
Given the fact that we live in this world, and we have to abide by its rules, it is not bad. Because even later on, fucking Ogi, it's the better of the two outcomes. She left herself rather than being taken by this non-existent thing.
Yeah. Okay. I think there was this. Okay. I think that we're talking about her disappearing. So what that's making me think of is, I'm like, didn't they already talk about her disappearing? I remember like we were really scared about her randomly vanishing because Aragi and Hachikuji have a conversation.
Meta, right?
Meta.
Fuck.
I'm not like misremembering that they had a conversation and we were really worried about it for like episodes and like episodes after that.
I have 3
Because like
Monogatari
why else would they
notebooks.
talk about it? It was like, let me know before you leave or something like that. And we were like, is Hachikuji leaving? I feel like we should like find that
Yeah,
scene.
it'll take a second, because it'll take a second. But yes, I definitely agree. It's somewhere. For some reason, I thought it was in Monogatari second season, but that doesn't make any
I know, I
sense. These
thought it was
episodes have just
too.
flown by. Yeah, okay. So, Dude, that feels like so long ago.
The first episode of Nisei Monogatari?
So, okay, it's gonna kind of suck because we don't have the motbob subs anymore for
yeah.
Nisei, so we're on Crunchyroll.
So sorry.
This has to be it. Anyway, we've been talking a while. Sorry for stopping you, Hachikuji.
The scene, I can almost be transported back in time to this scene.
I'm always basically lost. That's not, in a way, I guess I was just walking around saying, isn't Aragi-san's house here? I haven't seen him in a while. Maybe I can see him again.
So basically, like, literally saying...
Yeah, well, bye. Let's meet again. Tone shifts. Hey, Hachikuji. Okay. This is really important, but before we even... Because of the line that's right on screen. I'm sorry. But, like, when it's, like... When she walks past him in the sequence and says, hey, Hachikuji, this moment is the only other moment that I can remember that the bit is broken until at the end of this episode. Like, this feels like all of their entire gag between the two is the light switch is turned off for a second. Doesn't it feel like that now in hindsight?
To some degree, it does feel like this moment feels like the switches, but I would also say what Hachikuji says before this happens even is somewhat of a breakage of their normal bidding with each other. For her to be like, oh, maybe I'm by Aragi's house, maybe I'll see him. Normally she's like, Aragi. There's more of a bit to their relationship, so I would say even her admitting kind of wanting to see him before this happens is like there's a serious note between these two characters when there normally isn't.
You aren't going to disappear, are you? Because you know Oshino's gone.
And he's been gone for so long and I miss him.
I just wondered if you were going to vanish like he did. And then at the end of the episode with Ogi and like feeling like everybody's leaving. I have chills. Like, what the fuck? You spend so much time worrying about others. The only people you foist. I wish we had the original subtitles. Your problems on are Shinobu and me. And
just before we leave that line, the two characters that Aragi says basically that he would do anything for within the episode we just watched are Shinobu and Hachikuji. They're basically like the poster people for this Shinobu time like section. It's probably why the outro has both of them interacting with each other.
That's a good point. Oh my god, Shinobu didn't get to say goodbye to Hachikuji. I'm honored, really. Hachikuji, then let me ask you a question, Aragi-san. If I'm ever in really bad trouble again, would you help me? I remember this like we just watched it.
Yeah.
Sure I would.
I think we were crying.
I won't give anyone else enough time to save you.
I believe it.
I can talk to you about my problems. If you don't, I'll get mad. That's just like you. I'm sure there's a reason that Even after I stopped being lost, I stayed here. I won't leave until I know what that reason is.
I don't remember that part of the scene. I remember the disappearing.
I
Like,
wonder
you're
if
not
it's
gonna vanish on me line.
It's probably because we're stupid, but I also would love to know what the dialogue we watched it said. You know,
I would want to know that, but we always talk about like when things might have been written into existence in terms of like what the long goal was.
like
for
at
the
this
plot.
point in time, did
this-
they have the vague idea of the ending?
I feel like this entire dialogue scene, multiple things from it are literally referenced and talked about within the episode we just watched.
You're
to
right.
the point where you're either writing the scene that we saw, the episode we just saw, after this, like calling this into play and like bringing actually even some specific words. Like, she starts this scene showing that she knows the reason of why she's still here.
Mhm.
And she ends this scene off being like, I'm gonna leave once I know the reason that I'm here still. We're literally actively seeing Hachikuji like lying to herself, right? If we're like like the bookends of what this scene is, being like, I hope to meet up with Araragi. I wonder if his house is nearby, as the bookends start to this scene, and then ending it with like, I wonder what the reason why I'm still here is. And she talks about in the episode we just watched, like, all the fun times she's had with him.
Yeah.
Like,
Even if I do go away someday, before I do, I'll come to say goodbye. I see.
Oh, that hurts.
Okay, then you do that. Also,
That
like,
hurts.
didn't she come to say goodbye? Where did we see Hachikuji? She was at Araragi's house, too. Like, I know it wasn't like that, but just fuck. And
More
seeing...
reason that hurts, though?
Yeah.
He didn't say goodbye.
Yeah. Damn. Fuck. Okay.
Okay.
More depression. Actually, I wrote down within this, like, so I had Hachikuji theme, fuck, and then I had beautiful shot, consistency, and character. And I think it's so... Sometimes you're like, this is so good, but it's like, well, yeah, like, you have to do it that way. Like, why are you even pointing that out? But like
don't compliment the obvious.
yeah, don't compliment the obvious type shit. But like in the moment, it like, I just love it so much. I love the setting of this episode so much.
The ending of the episode prior into now. Like,
Yeah.
we've been complimenting it a lot.
Beautiful. And specifically, once Gaian leaves, we're getting all of these different shots and compositions of Ononoki sitting on the ledge while Araragi and Hachikuji are on the bench holding hands. And we have so many different angles of it. And like, it's so nice and so consistent in where everybody's sitting and being seen, and I love getting all of the different angles, and I just love it so much. It's stupid, but I love it.
There's always a lot of really good, interesting angles within the show in itself, like in its entirety. There's always really cool angles. I mean, wouldn't
Look
you?
at this one. Oh.
I'd so much rather what this gives me during it, because this is a very dialogue-heavy show.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're gonna have a show that most of what is happening in it is the conversations between characters and the giving and receiving of information and feelings, the viewer doesn't want to just watch the like a few stagnant kind of shots of them talking.
Yeah.
If you have a dialogue heavy episode or a dialogue heavy show or series, you need to be creative to keep it entertaining, but also to really emphasize kind of the emotions a lot of the time of what's being spoken about.
Araragi pleading, you want to use 20 up your lives for me? What about Senjugahara? God, Hachikuji. Don't forget about Hanekawa or your sisters. Like, Ononoki even has to be like, Araragi, come on, dude. She already accepted it. Look at her.
Doesn't Ononoki say, like, who's being the child here
Yeah.
or something like that?
You can't be Casanova.
He can't be?
I'm looking for a line that Hachikuji says that obliterated me. Yep, okay. Alright.
You're ready to get obliterated.
These 3 months I spent having fun conversations with you more than made up for the 11 years I spent lost, all alone.
That really is gonna make me cry.
I don't know.
Oh my god.
This is a really, really hard episode.
With that line, you know what it makes me think of? When we're coming back from going back in time, saving her life, and we ask her, we point blank, like, have that conversation, like, would you want to, like, be alive again? Like, what if that was even possible? And she's like, I've really enjoyed talking to you. she's reiterating those similar feelings to us, that like this has been something that she's not discontent, and she brings up, I think, even that word again in this episode. Like she's content with how things have been going for her as a ghost, especially because of meeting Araragi, and we've gotten to witness all of the fun that they've had together. And while I can understand him not wanting to let her go, and as a viewer, I obviously don't want to let her go because I enjoy their dynamic on the screen. I find it entertaining. She's adorable, character art, everything. It's such a good send-off. This episode is such a good send-off.
For the next minute straight, I felt like and I'm being stupid saying this, and I don't like mean it in a literal sense. I felt like it was written specifically for me as a person. Like
Yep.
It felt like someone who knew me better than anybody else wrote the scene just for me.
How nice of them.
It's like
they just knew everything.
I'm coming at it from the approach. When I say that, to give context, like I'm coming at it from the approach of what Hachikuji and Araragi's relationship always seemed to be. And what it seemed to be was a non-verbal acknowledgement of what their dichotomy and bidding was, what their relationship was, and what it was built off of.
They always felt like there was a confidence, I guess, like an equals kind of feeling, like they both knew what this relationship was, the dynamic was.
It's that switch that we were talking about being flipped, right? Like when it's on, we're both in character, if you will. Oh, right. Let's do that one last time. The back and forth that starts with "I bit my tongue." What the heck? So you were doing it on purpose all along. And like, I have so much to think and so much to say about I have so much to think, at least, about what Araragi is thinking when he says these words. Like, so you were doing it on purpose.
Were is emphasized, like in italics.
It's italicized, yeah. And like, at what point of there's so many different ways to look at it, right? So number one, so you were doing it on purpose all along? Like, oh my god, this is the first I'm hearing of it. Legitimate, valid. So you were doing it on purpose all along. You have suspicion that she was doing it all along. That can go into the bit, though. A step further, so you were doing it on purpose all along? You're saying that because that's the valid in-character response you would say to Hachikuji admitting it, that she was doing it all along. And you're saying it in character because you don't want to leave the character, because the second you leave the character, you're realizing what is real in front of you, and that's that the character's over, and that we have to say our honest goodbyes right now.
Or is it relief that you've been on the same page all along?
Oh my god. Yeah, isn't that obvious? Like, isn't that obvious? It just made me want to scream, jump, cry.
He's smiling when he asks the question, and then she goes on to say, isn't that obvious? To me, I read that as we're finally saying the truth out loud, and both of us are getting the validation that we were always on the same page about what our relationship was and our bits and all that.
Nobody bites their tongue like that.
What?
So, shall we? Come to think of it, we haven't done it once this time.
We've been very serious this episode.
Not even this episode, in Shinobu time, right? Like, I just, man. I don't know. I don't know how much of Monogatari we have left. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't have anything good to say other than I don't know. And what a way to end it with Hachikuji on the shoulders of my giant Ononoki.
Ononoki. Actually, so did you want to finish watching this scene?
Hachikuji bit his tongue. That's all.
Yeah. Something else I just it kind of sparked into my brain before we leave, kind of saying goodbye to Hachikuji, which is so hard to leave. She did something else of referencing something that she's brought up to us before in the past. We don't need to go back to find it. But something that she says in this episode is you can't choose them all. Like, you couldn't choose all of us, I guess. To Aragi, I guess meaning all of the characters in the show that we're getting introduced to, that he has friendships and relationships with. Like, at the end of the day, Senjukahara is the girlfriend, and even, like, Nadeko says, like, Shinobu's the partner. These positions are already kind of full.
Mm-hmm.
He can't choose them all. And I'm pretty sure Hachikuji is the one that brings up to us, like, somewhat of, like, a dating sim language. Like, who's the tsundere? You have all the different kind of characters that you would normally have.
Yeah.
Like, she brings up that sort of idea
Meta.
to us. The meta, you know? That's what kind of sparked in my brain, is like, oh, kind of the meta, you know? I need to bring that up before we leave it.
Well, 4 months passed.
Oh, so that's where we're going.
That's where we have to go. Apologies, I bit your tongue. I just 4 months. 4 months have passed, okay? Mm-hmm. We're in August. Where are we now? September, October, November, December? Like, Ogi as well. I don't think that we can gauge if Kanbaru was involved from the retelling of the instance to Ogi, because we didn't get there chronologically within the retelling, and we didn't get Aragi, like, implying how everything, details of how everything worked out.
Right.
All that he said was like, that was the big thing. That was the main thing there.
All we know for sure is that Kanbaru was going to meet with Aragi.
Yeah.
That's all we know for sure. We don't know
if
she actually agreed to help with Gaian's kind of mission.
Yeah. If anything, that was the major incident here. That's the line that was said. So I think that that's interesting that we don't get fucking anything. That was terrible, wasn't it? Fuck you, Ogi. I don't know. I love you and I hate you. I still wonder if there's anything else we could have done. So, okay. Before we even get there, because we fucking know what happens, I feel like in hindsight now, after the conversation with Shinobu, Aragi feels like an undercover cop right now. Like, he's undercover, he's playing the game, and he's doing it, like, to see what Ogi responds with, or what happens then in life after she has been told this information, you know?
Yeah, initially I was like, why are we talking to Ogi about this right now? And then obviously we learn later it is somewhat of a kind of undercover cop situation.
Yeah. And Ogi says, nah, you just barely made the right decision. Like, and it almost, like how you were using like the tree aspect of like, oh, yes or no.
Off.
It's like, oh, Ogi would be able to see what would happen if that wasn't the right decision, or at least have the confidence to know that that was the right decision. She was extremely wise in choosing to pass on herself instead of getting eaten by the darkness.
Which, like, yes, I would agree that is the better choice, is to go to the afterlife yourself, and then, because what is the afterlife that would come of you going and being eaten by the darkness? You know what I mean?
Or to just
like,
be nothingness.
Do you just literally have nothingness, or, you know, verse your soul passing on to, if you deem it to be heaven that you would go to, therefore if your idea of heaven is you could watch over Araragi, then I would definitely pick that one than the not knowing anything of being eaten by a darkness and non-existence.
Yeah. Then she fucking says that she has just normal work to do. Awesome.
Like homework?
No, I right wrongs and bring to an end that which must end. If I had to be specific, I guess my job involves punishing liars.
And I feel like we both were like, excuse me, what did she just say?
I'm
about
like,
punishing
it's too
liars?
fucking soon. You know, Gaian is just said Hachikuji's a liar and she needs to go home.
And the job of the darkness is to punish liars.
And then Ogi's like, yeah, I guess my job involves punishing liars. And I'm like, fucking
we're like,
Ogi.
hey.
So I wanted to go back because I think I know what episode it is. I think it's like episode 5, when we get Ogi's first, like, I don't know,
Appearance?
Yeah, I think appearance, but it was like when we get Ogi's conversation with Araragi about traffic.
Oh, that's at the start of Hachikuji, right? The start of when we are gonna go back in time for her?
Yeah. And I'm like, what she said vaguely applies to Hachikuji. Episode 6, sorry, not 5. Episode 6, not 5. Did you know that there's a moment in time where every light at an intersection turns red? What the heck? Is it during maintenance or something? Nah, it happens way more often. I'm sure you see it on a daily basis too. On a daily basis? I don't think I've ever seen it. Wait, if that actually happened every day, it'd cause accidents all over the place. It happens every day so that accidents aren't all over the place. We proceed to, like, from my recollection and my notes on episode 6, it, like, that freaked me the fuck out. Like, that was like, who the fuck are you, Ogi? Like, we got that she was 15 years old there, and everything about the crosswalk, right? And how that could apply to Hachikuji. But what I had written down in episode 6 was the philosophy of it. Just philosophy. Because, like, Araragi within this shit, like, argues back, right? He's giving up, like, I think, like ideas and iterations of, like, oh, but what if this? What if that? And Ogi has a very strong sense of opinion, seemingly.
It does seem like Ogi feels very confidently in her opinions.
You could call it the 3-second void of intersections. There's never a time where every signal turns green, as long as they're not undergoing maintenance, that is. If I were the designer, I'd create a system in which it'd be impossible to do that. To do what? Green light?
Have everything be green? I would say it's to have every light be green at the same time.
Yeah. The world is at its safest when it's filled with red signals that denote danger.
Yeah.
Conversely, the world becomes the most dangerous place when it's full of green signals that denote safety. What a contradiction. That shot of Araragi is so interesting.
Help you stay on the right path?
Yeah, but what does Araragi respond with? Even all of this recontextualized seems so, like, Araragi can read through the lines of everything that's happening. Like, yeah, he just made, like, a healthy food analogy. And when Ogi's like, you're surprisingly quick on the uptake for how dumb you are, Araragi. Araragi says, thanks for the compliment. Ogi says, it wasn't one. I was taking a dig at you. I feel like Araragi was aware that she was taking a dig at him, chose not to focus on that, and chose to focus on the compliment to morally and philosophically apply to the argument and the theoretical conversation they're having about stoplights. I think it's about their outlook on life and about what should and shouldn't happen, and, like, about, like, Araragi still maybe hoping or like now wishing that there could have been something more to do that wasn't the two options that could make a world that Hachikuji still could be existing in.
Well, I guess we do know that to be the case, that he does wish that she could have stayed around and he could have come up with a plan that maybe wasn't going and living on a mountain with her without anyone else there. You know, I'm sure he does wish there was a way to keep her around 100%.
And then I think that's all that I can get, that I had in my notes, at least from episode 6. But to go back,
because we have to go back, because there's something else said with, like, the Ogi scene.
Like, I think it was something like, yeah, you might know eventually. And then she says, there's a chance I might need your help in the future after all. It's like everyone's leaving me behind and going off somewhere. I feel deserted. And then we get Shinobu's involvement. That girl from earlier is probably something. Yeah, I guess.
That's how I feel right now. I left her leaving the room as feeling like she was something, and I feel like I know what that something is.
It's like, it's so interesting how, because obviously we're 4 months later, right? It's so interesting how Araragi's talking and responding to all this. Nah, it's all mystery to me. I'd love to know everything. It's so hard to not, like, branch that to, he knows somebody who knows something, and that person he knows somebody who knows everything, and that person who knows everything has even said that it's not all it's cracked up to be, in a way. And Araragi's still on the other end of it, saying he'd love to know everything in this situation. I feel like I'm going crazy.
He would willingly hurt himself in order to help other people, and if he knew everything, then he would be able to help more people.
Yeah.
He would willingly sacrifice, like, his well-being and, like, them being maybe miserable knowing everything, even stuff that isn't fun to know, because he would then know when he needs to try to think of a plan out of it or to help someone.
I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Right.
So we're told Ogi, we're telling Ononoki to keep it a secret. We're going to see if anything changes. We're going to see if anything happens. Araragi, I love you to death. I like just the idea of Araragi being in like he gives the air here of just being so much more knowledgeable and in control and methodical about his
in
actions and
control.
decisions.
Yeah, definitely.
And he says that he's kept Hachikuji's disappearance a secret from everyone. Do you think that that is strictly like, oh yeah, Hachikuji's around, I saw her the other day? Or do you think it goes as far as to act out interactions with the Hachikuji that would be there in theory, but she isn't there?
I think it goes in a realistic answer to this, or like I'm gonna be like serious about my answer. I think it's the misunderstanding is actually like lying if you're not gonna clear it up. So in keeping the disappearance, what we're really actually doing is letting everyone assume that she's still around and never clearing it up. We're not acting as if she's still there. Like, we're not pretending to talk to her, but we're not saying that she's gone.
Yeah. Let's see how telling Ogi and an Ogi alone affects things.
How does telling Ogi and Ogi alone affect things? And what are we trying to affect? That's like my biggest like question coming out of this scene is like, what are we trying to affect? What effect could happen?
Good question. The last thing I had about this episode, I think, is the only thing I could speculate, right?
Okay.
Or I guess not even. I don't know. Maybe I just wanted to bring it up. Like, there was a line, like, I think it was like 9 or 10 minutes in. I can't read my handwriting. It was from Guyan, though, about lying. The whole not trying to clear up misunderstandings is basically the same thing as lying. Becoming a god is all well and good. Nobody can fault you for that. We're talking about the idea of Shinobu not being a god, but then it's hard to not fucking... Becoming a god is all well and good. Like, crash cut to Nadeko becoming a god and Ogi being pretty involved with the beginning start of that. And
well, because what she's doing is really becoming a god.
Yeah.
Becoming a god is different than pretending to be a god.
Yeah, it's just interesting. It's just interesting. It's interesting.
It's
losing my mind.
It's also interesting. If that's it and you're about to lose your mind, then I will say one last thing.
Maybe I'm about to find my mind.
Ooh.
Go on.
Okay. The last thing is we get the name of what the kind of next section.
I didn't even read it. I'm a bad fan. What is it?
Hitagi End.
Okay.
So
I think I heard you say it, but I just like it was too filled with emotion.
There was a lot of emotions going on, and then the Ogi scene kind of probably sent, as I think you started this discussion off saying you were spiraling a little bit, which
Ogi
makes
hole.
complete sense. Yes. So Hitagi End is the next section that we will be watching.
It appears to be.
And I've brought it up at the discussion's end, which is perfect timing.
Yep.
Yep.
Let's part ways so that we can start part 1. I'm sorry. Are you good?
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We hope to see you next time.